Welcome to Right on Track, a songwriting podcast. Thanks to Tone for tuning in. I'm Demi Michelle Schwartz, and I'm thrilled you're joining me on my songwriting journey. So kick back and relax, don't fall flat, and remember, stay right on track. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Right on Track. I am so excited because joining me today is a very special guest. Please welcome Colton James. Hey, Colton.
Hey, how you doing? It's great to be on the show.
I'm doing great. It's awesome to have you. I'm very, very excited to have you. So, today we are going to be chatting all things from music and fishing to songwriting, your latest releases, and more. But before we get into all of that, can you share with the listeners a little about yourself and how you got started in music? I read your bio and was so inspired, so I think you can say it much better than me.
Oh, sure, be glad to. Well, as we all know, music is the voice of the soul, and I'm just glad to have the gift of music and writing in my life, my family. Basically, I started in music when I was about 4 years old, and I did 9 years of Christian and gospel music, and worked with a lady that went on to be pretty big in production at Walt Disney. And growing up, one cool thing about my family and music is both my grannies played piano and organ. So on one side of the family, I had that honky tonk granny that got down on the piano and had a good time with her family on Sundays, and we cooked all the home cooked meals and spent time together. And the on the other side of the spectrum, my other grandmother was a did a lot of Christian and gospel on the piano and organ, and also was a pretty famous watercolor artist. So, and I got to spend a lot of time with both of them and stayed with them when my dad traveled on construction. So, got to spend a lot of time with them, and I really believe that those younger years, you know, uh, helped turn me into the man I am today, and helped my craft and just an inspiration on both sides. My mother also sang in church, big inspiration to me. But when you start at 4 years old, and you're working on plays and different things like that, and then standing in front of large crowds, you kind of get used to it. And I just I've never really been afraid to get in front of people, and I've always enjoyed getting out and sharing the gift that I've got. And if I can inspire somebody with what the songs I write, put a smile on their face, and just to see people happy, that's what I've always enjoyed in life. So um, I started playing country music. I was 15, 16 years old, but I always have loved country, especially those long rides in my truck with my dad, and the old Chevrolet truck, going to the fishing hole on the weekends and listening to all types of classic country. And it's you got these songs you listen to, and sometimes they just they just cut deep into your soul on the lyrics and the music. And for me, I think I just absorbed all types of music, from Christian to rock and roll to southern rock to country to everything. And I just kind of took it all in, and I loved the whole aspect of it. But started playing the honky tonk bars, if you will, and 18, 19 years old, and wasn't even old enough to get in there. And so I was kind of the greenhorn, playing with my first band, and just came up in that direction. And I'm not going to say that's the easiest way to come up, but I did. And learned a lot from playing in front of crowds, and feeding off the people, and just the energy of it. And basically did that for several years, and working on my craft, and just fine tuning it, and seeing, you got to learn yourself and what works for you and your audience. I will always say that anybody listening, don't ever be scared to be yourself, and just inspire people with the talent and arts that you're given, and who you are. We're all individuals, and we all have a different picture we want to paint. So here we are, many years down the road. Fast forward, I could go on and on, but we got some exciting stuff that's happening, and every day is a different day, and for myself, we're all learning, and you just keep moving on, and it's a great thing to be in is music, so I love it.
For sure. Wow. Such a very inspiring introduction. It's very clear that there's so many things that are important in life that are important to you. Like you're focused on family and community, your faith, your country. And it's so beautiful to see that because I feel like, especially in today's world, that's not seen as often. Like, not many people really love and embrace and make it a point to put focus on those things in life that are just where you come from, who you're meant to be, and all those things that make you you. And I think looking back at when you're growing up with being surrounded by Christian music, that definitely played a role, I think, and all your other musical influences, taking your own experiences as a young child introduced to music and growing up into the artist yourself, you seem very down to earth. And I think having that background led you to be that.
100%. The people that you surround yourself with and your family definitely, help mold who you are. And I will say this: I have been totally blessed to work with some great songwriters, mentors, people that have believed in me. You hear about these stories. Oh, it took them 20 years before they hit the big times. But I tell you what, there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and dues that go into that, and hundreds of people that make it happen. I could start with a list, and we could talk all week about that. But there's so many people to thank, that are believers, and in the music path that I'm on in my life right now. I couldn't be any happier because we just got some great things in the future, and I'm just excited to bring the world and America, well, what we're getting ready to bring them, and sharing my story. And like you said, in today's times in this world, a lot of things, and there's negativity on social media, things that are talked about, but it all boils down to this: your family, your belief in God, faith, and just getting up every day and trying to put your best foot forward, and enjoying the life that you're given. We're not promised tomorrow, so every day is a gift to me.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love how, as songwriters, we have the ability to talk about these important things in life and put that out there and hopefully inspire others to kind of see through all the negativity of today and start to go back to how things were like when times were simpler and enjoy the things in life that truly matter. So that's a perfect transition into our quote for this episode by the incredible Bob Dylan. Will you read that?
I sure will. You don't write a song to sit there on a page. You write it to sing it.
So, what comes to your mind when you read that?
Well, I tell you, I'll say this before I answer that question. My grandmother, that was a painter and also played organ. I remember sitting beside her as a young child, and she said to me, she said, a painter paints with a paintbrush, and a songwriter paints with a pen. She said, I see you painting pictures with a pen to inspire people. And she was so right, because when you put your true feelings down on paper, and it is, you're painting a picture to the listener, and the people that are going to become your fans and believe in you. When you put your true emotions down and you sing it from the heart, every word, every lyric, every chorus, every verse, and people feel that. And people, I tell you, and especially in these times, they want real. And if anybody out there listening is a inspiring songwriter and stuff, the one thing I've learned from all the writers I've worked with, and some great ones: less is more. Um, keep the subject line simple, and paint it so people can understand it. And that's exactly what I think Bob Dylan was saying. When you write that song, you just didn't write it to write it. You want to sing it from the heart. You want to paint the picture for people to hear it come through those speakers. And What a great quote.
For sure. Yeah, I love it as well. And I think I agree too with not letting it sit there, not simply singing it just to sing it, but truly from the heart. And I think as songwriters, I've always said authenticity and speaking truth is the most important thing because if you believe what you are singing and writing about, then that would make other people stop and listen. And I also think the power of songwriting too is that there are so many ways now of communication through media and other forms of sharing stories and news and all of that. But I think what's so special about music is it communicates sometimes very important and real messages in such a beautiful way, sometimes poetic ways, sometimes very conversational that really hits differently. A song hits differently than a news report or an article in a magazine or whatever. And I think because of the art form, it can really impact people, make them think and change their mind and inspire. And so I think that's so important. We write these songs not just for ourselves, not to just sit there and be put away, but to really be in the world and hopefully touch someone's lives and change it.
Exactly. I've I get some young people that reach out to me all the time, and they say, "Hey, what do you think of my voice, or what do you think about this song?" And I get some people to say, "Hey, I just don't know if I believe in myself. I don't know if my voice is good enough to uh to make it." And I tell everybody, say, "Hey, look, first of all, everybody sounds different. You don't have to be the greatest singer in the world to do great things with music. You know what I mean? It's all about the message. If you sing it from the heart, and let me tell you, that'll carry you a long way."
Absolutely. Yeah, and I love how you brought up you don't have to be the best singer. I mean, Bob Dylan is the one who said this quote, and we all know he's not the best singer, but look, like
Yeah.
his lyrics like have won awards and
Oh yeah.
still leave such great effects on people. So, you can be an amazing storyteller. You don't have to have the best voice.
Exactly. I had the pleasure one weekend to spend some time with his bass player, and we sat there and talked about all the years when he was on the road with Bob Dylan, and just what a great weekend that was, just to share some stories and all the stuff they went through, and the albums and recording in the studio. Um, so I can definitely relate with his quote after speaking, spending a whole weekend with his bass player, spent many years with him on the road. But music is the voice of the soul, like I said earlier, and it's something that inspires people every day. So
Mhm. For sure. Yeah, and especially today, I feel like music is the one thing that has stayed so constant. Like, nothing can stop music. Music will always be a part of our lives, and we'll always have the chance to continue to write songs and put them out there. And so I think it's kept me, like grounded through these past few years, knowing I could turn to my own craft, but also just listen to songs that move me as well. And so I think being able to be part of that whole cycle is so beautiful. So I want to talk about your personal love of fishing and how this is connected to your music. So can you share a little about that?
sure, sure. Well, I grew up doing a lot of fishing, so a lot. in fact, uh, in fact, if I probably wouldn't have got into music years and years ago, I probably would have went into the fishing business professionally. But I spent a lot of time fishing with a lot of my friends and family, and I grew up fishing all along the Outer Banks of North Carolina, all up and down the East Coast, and did a lot of. I've even ran a boat that we had at Pirates Cove on the Outer Banks. Made it on some offshore boats, and have enjoyed every. It's I don't know if you've had a chance to get out on the ocean and go fishing, but for me, when you're heading out early in the morning, that sunrise is coming up, and that salty air is hitting you in the face, and you're going out to enjoy a day on the water. You don't know what's going to happen, and there's that energy that just hits you, and it's exciting for me because I love the ocean, I love the water, I love all types of fishing. But you know, to be able to bring music and that whole lifestyle together, first of all, I wrote a song a few years back um, with the late great Kim Tribble. He passed away last year. He was my mentor, one of my best friends, and just we had so many memories we shared together. And what a great songwriter! He wrote a lot of hit songs. and we wrote a song called "Real Water Cowboy," like the fishing reel, REEL. And I remember the night we wrote it, we were up till like 3 o'clock in the morning when we finished it, and we were like, man, we got something special here. And it's a high energy song that just puts you in the situation with us on that boat, and you're heading to the ocean. And it's just a high action song. And anyway, that song has led us into a TV show we're working on right now with the Country Network, and it's going to be a great TV show and a brand, bringing musicians and music stars to the fishing world and cuisine all combined in one. Who don't like fishing? Country music, and food. So I mean, it's a good thing for me to bring all this together.
Yeah.
But also one thing about this show is getting the different artists on. It's there's nothing really scripted on it. We're gonna go out there and just be able to share their story. About them coming up in the world of music, and who got them inspired in fishing and the outdoors, and just kind of letting go and enjoying the day and having fun with everybody, and then cooking some really good food that night with some celebrity chefs in the area that we go into. Yeah, I've actually been able to play a lot of big major fishing tournaments all up and down the East Coast, down in Florida, Gulf of Mexico, the West Coast, California, and different places, Bahamas, Mexico, Guatemala. And there's a lot of people out there in the industry that that are country music listeners and fishermen. So it kind of all ties in together for me, and we're really excited about that. I've got another song called "Oceans East" that I wrote actually during the pandemic, and I remember me and my wife were sitting there at our farm, and she came in there. She said, "You look miserable tonight," and I said, "Well, I am." I said, "There's a bunch of bad news on TV." I said, "Nobody can get out touring." And it was just kind of like everybody was in the lull of what's going to happen with the world and the country. And she said, she goes, "I know you." She goes, "We've been together, since I was 17." And she went in there and got my guitar. She goes, "You know what?" She goes, "There's only one way to get you out of this mood." And she goes, "Why don't you just write a song about something you really love?" So I sat there that night and wrote "Oceans East." And it just paints a picture of being out on the water, and another journey with, I guess you could say, Colton into my world with music. And also, intertwining the music. We love to take veterans out fishing, wounded vets and veterans, and get them out on the water, put a smile on their face, and which is a big part of who I am. The water and patriotism and our country and what our flag stands for. So this whole parallel thing for me is a dream come true. And um, we're excited to see how all this is gonna tie in, and the memories we're gonna make with these upcoming TV shows and the new songs we're writing. So
That is incredible. Wow. I think it's so beautiful how you took literally two of your favorite things, music and fishing, and found a way to intertwine them in so many creative ways, from writing to all the other things you've done. It's absolutely incredible. So, shifting a little to the songwriting, do you tend to write a lot when you're on the boat as well, or when you're by the ocean? Do you do that, or is that something you haven't done a whole lot?
well, I'll tell you this, and my wife says it best. She tells everybody, she goes, "My husband has a songwriting disease." Everything's, I'm telling you. She says, and everybody that knows me, everything's a song. I mean, it's crazy. I think it's I've always got these melodies running through my head, or just lyrics hit me, and for me, it's crazy how these awesome melodies hit me, and then I'll just sit down and start writing the words with it. But I will say, being out there on the water, a lot of inspiration happens there, and a lot of inspiration happens for me also too when I'm around. Like I say, the veterans and kids organizations I work with, and cancer organizations. So there's a lot of inspiration on both sides of that for me. And but you never know when a good song is going to hit you. you could be in a car, you could be out on the water, you could be cutting grass. So I'll tell everybody that. Let me tell you, don't hesitate to stop, jot it down, record it on your phone, do whatever you got to do. If a great idea hits you, do not let it go. Trust
Yeah.
me. And here's another tip: keep your titles to yourself. Don't never let a good one slip out. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, perfect. Yeah, no, 100%. There's so many times where I'll get an idea for a song when I'm like in the middle of doing something and I'll be like, oh, I'll remember, I'll write this down in like an hour. And then it's like, what was that title again? What was that melody again? That's funny. Keep your titles to yourself. I think it's so cool when you get a title and you can write from a title because those songs open so many doors for the directions you can go, the interpretations of the title. So yeah, 100%. Titles to
Oh
yourself.
yeah, yeah. That's 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 one thing. Kim Tribble, me and him, we'd have something hit us, and he goes, hey, you didn't say nothing to nobody about that, did you? We used to joke around. I'd say, yeah, I called up so and so and told him. He said, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. But we always had some fun with that. But like I said, you never know when it's going to hit you. I mean,
Mhm.
we were sitting around the house the other night, and I was going through. Everybody's phone gets loaded up, and you go, man, I got to delete some stuff on here, videos or whatever. I look back, I had like 280 video clips of me just riding around with different song ideas, and I'm like, man, I didn't realize I had this much stuff on my phone. And I went through there and actually wrote a whole list down of like potential good ones that I really feel good about. But it's quick. It's easy. It's crazy how they add up.
For sure, yeah, absolutely. So now I want to move into talking about your latest releases, and you mentioned patriotism a couple times so far, so that's perfect for your song I Miss America, which I believe you released on the 4th of July. So what was the inspiration behind this one?
Well, this is exactly how this song came about. My partner, Rick Dawson, um, which at the time we hadn't started the new label or anything, but long story short, for those of y'all listening, Rick Dawson is my co-writer on this song, and he's also my partner on our new record company, Red Sunset Entertainment. And he's also the man uh, that owns America's Horse, which a lot of people seen on the news and TV and watch it on the Kentucky Derby with the horse that came from behind and against all odds, and won the Kentucky Derby. And they're calling it one of the greatest 2 minutes of sports of all times. But Rick's a great guy. He loves his country, and he sent me a picture one day about something about the America I grew up in, and I was sitting there at the house. And I was like, and I was like, I sat there and it just hit me, and I was like, I started writing some lines down. You know, where a handshake was a handshake and a friend was a real friend. I think that was the first two lines I wrote. And I miss America I grew up in, where a handshake was a handshake and a friend was a real friend. And life was so much simpler back then. I think that's what it was. And I sent him a text back. I said, "Hey man," I said, "this might be the makings of a song." And he said, "Well, I've never written a song before." I said, "Well," I said, "it might be something fun. I know you love our country, and you had family that was in Vietnam, and I know our country is very special to you." And he said, "Well, let's give it a whirl and come out to my house in Oklahoma City and Edmond, Oklahoma." And I remember getting out there, and we were talking about it. And the night before, we woke up the next morning, and he's got a little courtyard on the side of his house, and we went out there and drank some coffee. And I love writing early in the morning because I think that's when my mind is fresh and I'm really, really getting into my thoughts. And I started thinking, picturing what I did when I was a kid. I remember, we started out each morning, with a right hand on our heart and all eyes on Old Glory. And that's how the song started. I just started closing my eyes and writing down the visions of everything that mean a lot to me, and my experiences growing up as a kid and family in this country, and all the people across our great nation that have worked from sun up to sundown to make this great nation what it is. And I tell you, it was just some songs happen in a couple hours, some songs happen in a half an hour, some songs happen in a month. I mean, but this one was just, it just came to life on its own, and we just kind of went back and forth on some words, and we had it written in 2 hours, and started laying down the music for it, and it just came to life that quick. So I really believe it was a gift from God, and it was meant to be. And so out there on a you know quiet spring day in Oklahoma, out on a courtyard, out in the country in his house, and we wrote that song and put the words together that has now become the new single "I Miss America."
Wow, such a beautiful story. It's amazing when those moments happen, when you just have a great idea that you personally connect with, and it just seems to come to life before your eyes. I think it's so incredible how I don't know, like, I feel like us songwriters, it's not really us doing it, it's almost like there's kind of this inspiration and force kind of moving through us, kind of letting us know what we need to write, and I think, like, that's a moment of you feeling in your heart that this is a song that needed to be written, and you remembering back to when you were younger and kind of rooting yourself in that and how things used to be, and kind of reminiscing on that to bring this to life. So beautiful.
Well, I'll tell you, and another thing too, as a songwriter, you get all the song down, and then you start thinking about the melody and chorus and how the song's going to go, and it's in the roadmap of it. But I tell you, I love the creative part when you go in the studio and you got these great players that come together. And one thing I've learned is working with Kim Tribble, Jimmy Nichols, and all these other producers I've worked with is I'll sing the song in there for all the band, for the studio musicians, and the producers roadmap it out with Nashville charting, and how the roadmap of the intro is going to be, the verse, the choruses, the bridge, different turnarounds, the leads, and all this stuff. It's amazing to see it come to life. But I never really try to pinpoint to all the team exactly how how I really want it to sound, or either I don't put my thumb down on anybody, and I always let some of those guys just be creative, and it's amazing to see the music come to life. And that day that we cut that song was amazing. It was um, a lot of great players, and I remember Jimmy saying, he says, "Hey, I got a guy, Chris Lusinger, that has played on every Garth Brooks #1 single. He's coming in to play guitar today," and I was like, "Man, that's gonna be really cool." And I've never been able to work with him in the studio, and a lot of great players there that day. And I remember him saying after we cut the tracks, he said, "Hey, Colton," he goes, I really feel like you got something here, and I hope that everything I played today was an inspiration. It helps on the song." I just remember him saying, "I've played on a lot of great songs, but," he said, I really feel good about this song." So that was inspiring for me.
For sure. Wow, such a beautiful story. Studio days are incredible, incredible, incredible. So you have another very new single that just came out called "Ring on Her Finger." What's this one about?
Well, "Ring on Her Finger" is the song. Like I said, Kim Tribble, who was my mentor, producer, good friend. It was the very last song we wrote together before he died. It was the very last time I seen him alive. And for me, the song is so special because remember the day we were writing it, and he was going through the things he was going through, and we got about halfway through it, and I knew we had something great there. And he said, "Buddy," he said, "I think I'm gonna go on home. I'm not feeling too good today." And I said, "Well, we didn't finish the song, Kim." And he said, "Man," he goes, "You got this." He goes, "I have faith in you. You can finish it." And 'cause me and him always tried to finish it out all the way, and so I didn't finish it for a while, and Kim had gotten worse and with his health, and I sat down there at the house one day, and I was just thinking about him, and it was a real pretty morning at the house, and I just sat there and finished the song. And I just remember I was thinking about him, and all the good times, and what a legacy song to leave behind, with me and with everybody, because marriage is so special. I met my wife when she was 17. We've been together ever since, and we have a beautiful family. And I will tell you that I married my best friend, and I did put the ring on the finger of the girl that was meant for me. And I want to tell everybody that because, you know, there's a lot of people, marriages don't last a whole lot like they used to. Like you said earlier, it's a lot of stuff that happens, and it's hard to find real love. And ring on her finger is it's just a it's my message to the world, and also to my wife and to my family and to other people that are engaged or they're thinking about getting engaged or getting married, that it's one of those songs that you can just dance to. And I'm just really excited about this song, Ring on Her Finger. And we're actually shooting part of the video tomorrow. And I was I got a couple things I can say, but I don't want to blow the surprise on what's going on it. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty awesome. Um, but we're hoping that this becomes one of the biggest wedding songs in the world. For me, I remember the day at Starstruck Studio when I cut the vocals and the producers were in there and I sang it, and they're like, "Man, there's not much more we need to fix." So it was almost a single take. But I remember, my wife was there with me and I was looking at her through the glass, and I just shut my eyes and I was thinking about all the memories and good times we've had, and I think it just all came out in the track. So
Another incredible story. That's absolutely beautiful. And just hearing about the writing side of it too, that definitely holds a lot of meaning and emotion as well. And so I think you're so lucky to have had that opportunity and to have finished the song and recorded it because it's a beautiful song. And, you saying you hope it becomes one of the biggest wedding songs in the world, I definitely think it has the potential to do that. So, congratulations.
yeah, I appreciate that. And what a tribute to Kim Tribble and to his wife. That I cannot wait to uh just go over to her house and show her this video and sit down with her. So that's gonna be a big thing for me and my whole family. So but yeah, we're gonna shoot part of the video tomorrow, and I'm pretty excited about it. She went and got this pretty white dress, and I will say this: there's gonna be an awesome island beach kind of feel involved, and sunset, and walking hand in hand. There's gonna be some cool stuff in there, but I won't go any further. Want to see the video, so
Yeah, no, we all will wait until the video's out. But Colton, two incredible singles you have out now. Congratulations. It was such an honor talking to you. What are some final words you would like to share with any songwriters listening about chasing their dreams in the music industry?
hey, I'll tell you this: whatever dream you're chasing, it's been there all the time. It's been in your soul. Don't ever give up. Um, you're gonna have days out there where you stumble and you fall, but you just got to get right back up and push forward and believe in who you are. God gave us all gifts. And I got people that come up to me and say, "How's it feel to be a star?" Or in the makings of a star. It's like, you know what? We're all a star, and we're all someone special. I'll leave you with that. How about that?
Yeah, so inspiring. Thank you so much for joining me. Can you share with everyone where they can find you online and listen to your incredible music?
Yeah, you can go to Spotify, Colton James USA on Instagram, Colton James USA on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. I think Apple Music, Amazon. Yeah, we're really excited about the videos. We're going to be shooting the video too for I Miss America with a really good video producer there in Nashville, and we're going to be doing that here in a few weeks. So I can't wait to share all of it with the world. So we're excited.
I am excited for you. Thank you again for joining me. Listeners, thank you so much for listening to this incredible conversation with Colton James. And of course, until next time, stay
Stay
right
right
on
on
track.
track.